Okay, this is your first lesson video for Project 2 in Congress and the legislative process. The first thing that we need to do is we need to print off the votes associated with your bill, and so we're going to do that right now. So the first thing I'm going to be working with the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act of 2002. That is associated with the 107th Congress, so I'm going to go to the 107th Congress, and it is 107th Congress and the 155th bill, or 155th law. So let me go find 155. And it is right there, Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, and I'm going to click on that one. That takes you to the text of the bill. What I initially want is the summary tab, and on that summary tab it lists the number of roll call votes, so that is 118 roll call votes. I am interested in the 16 House roll call votes, so I'm going to click off the Senate. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to sort these from oldest to newest. So that'll give my first vote up here, and vote 34 will be the last one for final passage. And I'm going to quickly just save this. So I'm going to right click, print, and I'm going to save this as a PDF. So you go over here, you change save as a PDF, and I'll save this to the desktop. And I've already got one out there, but I'll do it again. pols3320p2 print off. I'm going to save that, and it's going to ask me if I want to replace it, and sure enough I do. And I'm going to go out here, and print off is going to be right there, and it's going to show me from roll call vote 19 all the way down to 34. And this is going to have some basic information that we're going to code in the macro level database. Okay, good. Now, from that print off that you just saved to the desktop, you're going to populate what is known as the macro level database. And this is an example of the macro level database for the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, or the McCain-Feingold legislation. So in that print off, you're going to have some information that you're just simply going to enter into these different columns. And so the first column is the Congress, this is the 107th. You're going to enter in the session, and that is a function of the date of the roll call. So you're going to have a roll call date, and if that date is an even year, then the session is the second session. If it's an odd year, then it'll be a first session. So that'll be kind of where that information comes from. You're going to have a roll call number, and that's going to be in this column. This roll call will be populated later in a later step. And then I'm going to show you how to do these two in just a minute. And the last thing that you're going to get from that list that you printed off was the aye and nay values of all those different ones. And so those are the initial columns that you're going to code. Let me pause this, and I'll go and show you where to get that information. So this is the PDF that you just saved to your desktop, and on here you're going to have a bunch of information that you're going to use for the macro level. The first is going to be the Congress, that you know that from the public law, that's going to be available there. So the 107th for all of my votes. Each vote is going to have a day, and so these days were in 2002. That's an even year, so I know it's 107th Congress, second session. And then these dates are going to go into all those slots. The roll call number is right here, so I have roll call number 19 all the way through roll call number 34 for the last one, and they were all even. I didn't have, some of you may have interruptions in your sequence, so just make note of that. And this last information is going to be found here, so it's always going to be it's going to be always the ayes and then the nays, and so this is 179, 249. If I go back to that first kind of one, so it's 107th Congress, second session, that's the date of the vote, that's the 19th vote. That information we're going to code in a little bit, but it's 179 ayes and 249 nays. And so you can easily go through and just populate that for all your votes. I had 16 votes, so down to the 17th row here, down to final passage, right? So go ahead and start by doing that, and then I will show you how to get these two columns in here in just a minute. Now, to populate the type and purpose of the vote, you need to go back to the original congress.gov. And so this is congress.gov, Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act. I need to go find the description of the vote, or what the vote is associated with. And the way that you do that is you vote on this link. So these were all amendments. In mine, I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got all amendments and then a final passage vote, right? Some of you are going to have procedural, you'll have cloture votes, you'll have motions to table, you'll have a lot of different things. But as you go through, if you have amendments in particular, you're going to be worried about what the actual underlying kind of aspect of the amendment was. And so the way to get to that is go here. And as you click on it, you'll see that there's a description up here. That's okay. But I want you to kind of copy this value for the purpose. And so just kind of go through here. And in this one, it's an amendment in nature of a substitute. Just go up there, go back to your deal, and then just kind of paste it in there. And it'll kind of keep doing that. Once you get all of these in here, you may or may not have like all the room. So the last thing that you do is click all of these and then go to the home page, and up in this corner, you'll see a format button. And the format button can be used a couple different ways. The one thing that's always good to do is do auto fit row height, right? And that'll set up kind of all the rows to kind of get all the information in. And so that's a nice thing to do before you go. But having done all of that, you are done with kind of the first step of the macro page. We've got kind of we have the print off of the votes. We have all of these. We have Congress, session, date. The first roll call is coded. This one will not be until later. You have the type, which is basically just either an amendment, a procedural, or final passage. And then you have the purpose statement that you copied and pasted. And then you have the number of ayes and the number of nays. And your macro database is now complete. So having done that, everything is good. I'm going to close this lesson, and we'll do lesson 2, and probably need a third to get you through the micro level. Okay, good.